To Horse Talk, where we are going to talk about common mistakes and misconceptions about the bend to stop. Because the bend to stop is probably the most valuable tool you can teach yourself and your horse to stay safer when riding. And Dr. Surley et al., after studying hospital admissions for over 5 years in Canada, found that horseback riding is probably the most dangerous thing you can do. It's more dangerous than riding a motorbike. So, to have a tool that enables you to stop your horse even when something unexpected happens is very, very important. Because most of these accidents obviously happen when the horse is bucking, bolting, spooking, or rearing. And what we then very often do as riders is that we, lean forwards and we pull on two reins to stop the horse. That's kind of our intuitive go-to thing to do. Like, oh, shit, we need to stop. But when the horse is bucking, bolting, or rearing, they can easily do that even though we are pulling on two reins. Actually, it tends to make the horse even more upset because now they are spooking for something in the environment, and they also get scared from the rider trying to trap them and stop them. And this is when the bend to stop works a whole lot better, because by using one rein and making the horse soft and get the horse to cross over behind, we empty worry, and we can also get the horse to a halt or to a stop, which, doesn't always happen when pulling on two reins. That's often when these small spooks become big spooks and a little bolt become an even stronger bolt, because horses are flight animals and they need a way out. And they cannot buck, bolt, or rear when crossing over behind. But they can do all of these things if we just, bend their neck and don't get them to cross over behind. So that is probably the biggest misconception about the bend to stop, is that people think it's about bending the horse's neck. It's obviously one part of it, but it's not the most important part. So let me know in the comments below if your horse knows the bend to stop, and if you have had any troubles teaching your horse this, or maybe you have even tried it without it working. Yes, because for this to work, then both the rider and the horse needs to know it, and we need to practice it like before we need it. So we can't, just do regular halts and half halts with two reins and, backups, and then expect a horse to understand the bend to stop when we need it, and go like, okay, if something happens, I'm gonna just, pull on one rein and that's gonna solve everything. That's not how it works. We need to teach ourselves this and also the horse this to be able to use it in an emergency. Yes, so that might be a huge misconception right there. And I think when teaching this to a horse, there are a couple of pitfalls that can make the bend to stop not work at all. So even though you've taught yourself this and your horse this, it might still not work, because there are some small details in this that often pass people by. And I think one of the big ones is obviously, like, just bending the horse's neck isn't enough. We also need them to cross over behind. Yes. So you both need to get your horse to bend the neck and also get your horse to cross over behind. But when bending your horse's neck, it is actually crucial that your horse's face is straight. And I'm going to try to show you what I mean. Because when you then teach your horse to respond to one rein with softness in the neck, the the head of the horse needs to be straight. So if you are doing this and the horse doesn't necessarily respond and you start pulling, use more force to teach it, the horse can become a bit defensive and tilt their head like this. Or if you use treats to teach this to your horse, because when giving a treat, the horse will put the muscle upwards to get the treat. So at least if you use treats to teach this, be very mindful that the head of the horse is straight at all times. Yeah, because if the horse tilts the head like this and bends the neck, they are going to fall on their shoulder and you're also not going to reach the hind leg. So it's going to feel like you're on a sinking ship of a horse. Yes, and it starts kind of here. So make sure the head of the horse is straight and don't use more force. Do as I teach in the video. So when you pick up on the rein, if the horse doesn't respond to that, don't go bumping the reins or give treats or pull harder or stand there waiting, because the horse can ignore us picking up the rein. Do what I show you in the video so that the horse then responds by moving the hind end over, softening the neck and crossing over behind. That's crucial, because it's not about the horse bending the neck, it's even more about the horse crossing over behind. Yes. And I also think another common pitfall is that, we don't practice this enough for it to become a habit. So the bend to stop that I'm teaching in this video, where you learn it, teaches the actual bend to stop. But I also do kind of bend to stops or bend to starts when I'm leading the horse. I'm leading the horse, and during the outside turns, I get them to cross over a bit behind and soften their neck. When riding off, I often do a bend to start, so that when I'm riding off, I know that my rein aid works off heel and that the horse engages the hind legs of my leg aid. So by having groundwork and ways of handling the horse that emphasizes on the horse softening the neck and engaging the hind, this becomes a habit. And once this is a habit, we have actually then connected our rein aid to the hind legs of the horse. And that's when we can do a bend to stop without necessarily bending the horse or doing any circles. You will just be able to pick up on one rein when shit hits the fan, and that rein is gonna, reach the hind leg of the horse and instantly get them to, cross over behind and soften their neck. And it will also empty worry in a way that then makes it easy to stop the horse. But in the beginning, you might need to do a full circle, and the whole point is that we wait for the horse to find its own stop. So the more kind of worry the horse is holding, the more rounds you might need before the horse finds its own stop. So don't be tempted to then go pulling on two reins to get the horse to stop, because they have to kind of understand this themselves for this to, work and be a tool that not only you have, but the horse has, to find calmness and soften their body in stressful situations. Because even though you can say ho, or stop your horse with your seat, or stop your horse easily with two reins, that's not necessarily going to work in a situation where the horse is spooking. Or when you're riding with others and all the other horses are bolting off, your horse might not listen to the ho, 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 or your seat aid when that happens. You want to have then a tool that stops your horse and empties worry, so that you stay safe and don't end up in the alarming statistics of horse accidents. Yes, because there are quite many. And I think one of the reasons for this is that most riders and most horses, they don't learn the bend to stop and they don't practice it. So we don't really have a good tool for calming horses down in unexpected situations. And of course, also it is very helpful to use, protection gear like a helmet, but that's more like, we use a seat belt when driving a car, right? But the seat belt doesn't keep us out of accidents. It keeps us from getting hurt if we get into the accident. But what keeps us from getting hurt is that the brakes of the car actually work and that the steering of the car actually work, not the seat belt. So I feel like many riders are riding out there thinking everything is fine, and then something happens and their two reins and the regular way they're doing the halt doesn't work in those situations. And that's when you want to use the bend to stop. And also by practicing the bend to stop, you are going to get softness of your rein aid and hind leg engagement of your leg aid. So it's also going to make the horse softer and more responsive when ridden. And if you want to learn the bend to stop, then you can get a free training showing you exactly how you can do this with your horse. You can get that on ridelikeaviking.no/soft, or you can comment yes below and I will send you a link to the free training on DM. And this is literally something that can actually save lives. And that also improves your horse's rideability that you don't usually learn in riding schools. Or you might have learned the one rein stop and think that, bending your horse's neck is enough. That's not enough. So comment yes below and I will send it to you on DM. And thank you so much for joining this evening and see you next time. Stay safe. Bye for now.